Rumbling,
Nah.
rumbling under her breath, Anivia picks a burr from her clothes, wipes colorful alchemical goo off her sleeve, empties acorns out of her pockets, and shakes something that looks suspiciously like confetti out of her hair. Just look at this. You left the city at the mercy of the free Crusaders and see what they have done. I don't know if they're manning the defenses or rehearsing a circus act. But I'm not really mad, of course. You all gave the demons such a thrashing, they probably haven't even come to yet. Sounds like quite the party. Iroba would lose her mind if she could see what we've done to her beloved barracks. I'll need to be the first to see her and tell her everything. And ease her into it, you know, prepare the ground, put things into perspective. Anivia smiles, either pleased at having banished the demons, or imagining the reunion with her wife. Maybe both.
It's good that you're not mad at me, Anivia. Wait, I mean, you see, that came out wrong. I didn't mean to say that I was the one who wrecked the barracks.
No. So, did everybody make it through alright? Drezen is still standing. Kinda. Although, who knows for how long with those crazies loose in the place. They're as happy as causing all-around mayhem as they are thrashing demons. All the chaotic power. I have to say, I'm glad to see that life has been restored to the city. Me too. You can smell it in the air even. It feels like spring already. Aimu turns her head and takes a decisive sniff. So, how do you feel after seeing the goddess in the flesh? My ears are still ringing from these trumpets. After witnessing that sight, I don't think I could be surprised by anything ever again. I mean, as you heard, I have to catch Aureliu. Any idea where I should look for her? Not especially. She's been roaming the abyss all this time, but now that Avenue's close to her. Actually, and the other demon lords are slavering for a piece of her. I think she's someplace around here, in the wound. Some nasty little place like Is, or maybe she even went as far as Threshold. What's the situation at the front? Unknown. Her Majesty mustered all the troops she could, raised the sword of valor, and advanced the demons. There's been no word from her since she left. Perhaps she's boldly taking Is even now. Maybe her bones have already been picked clean by demons. We don't know. And I doubt anybody except you will be able to find out. But that's not all. Baphomet's minions keep taking swipes at us. The scumbags are holed up somewhere. The Ivory Labyrinth, I bet. And they keep the opening portals in different spots, dropping off a dozen units and then closing the portal before we can't even get to them. We lost more scouts than I'd care to admit before we figured out how they were pulling off that little trick. So, here's what I'm thinking. Maybe you could go to one of those portals in time. You could be ready for them somehow so that when one opens, you can get inside and crack some skulls. They might even be holding the poor Harold in there. If he's alive, you can free him. An entire army of demons enhanced by Nahindran crystals was being sent here. It's being led by a demon named Mutasafan. Do you know anything about that? Scouts reported the movement of a large demon army far to the southwest of Drezen. They were marching across a dried-out lake. There used to be a Sakorian holy place there, I heard. But where they went, nobody knows. They're not headed for us, that's for sure. At least, not yet. What are they doing? Thanks for your report. I'll be setting off without delay. Good luck, Commander. Let's do what nobody else has managed. Kick the demons back to the abyss through the hugest rift you can find. Only, you know what? No matter what happens out there, make sure you come back. My gut tells me that soon Drezen will be playing host to weird and wonderful folks from all over the world. Somebody's gotta be here to meet him, and sorry, but I don't want to be that somebody. Anivia smiles. Well, and somebody's gotta show the regular Crusaders, not the free Crusaders, what springtime's like in the Worldwound. In other words, make sure you come back. Anivia hesitates, and adds a little sheepishly. And grab Anivia... What? And grab Iroba and drag her back here with you if you find her, alright? Or else Desna only knows what'll happen to her out there. Yeah, let's hope we're gonna save her.
Are you finished talking about boring stuff now? Let's go and talk to our friend on the island now. We need to see how they're doing and ask them if somebody showed up there. Somebody was we last saw in the Abyss. And anyway, it's been a long time since Aranka gave me candy. We've got to go. It's important.
Yeah, let's see if the devil's showing up.
Knight Commander, it is time to talk. To decide where things stand. I wanted to tell you that love is an emotion of light and good. It is a blessing sent to us by Shaylin. And I would be happy to share this blessing with you, if you decide to share it with me. But please, do not impoverish this gift by sharing it among many.
I think this is the scene where you have to decide between romances.
We were just arguing about which one of us you'd choose if you had to. You know, hypothetically speaking, of course.
Oh boy.
You want to help us settle this debate?
Lann is smiling. There's a stubborn set to his jaw, and his eyes are guarded. Woljif leans against the wall, arms folded over his chest. His tail bats the stone incessantly. Hey Chief, what gives? I thought we had a special partnership.
See here, Warchief. You're dear to me like no other. But if things keep going the way they are now, our love's going to end either in tears if we're lucky here, or in blood.
Whoa.
So make your choice. Pick one of us. Better to break things off now and stay friends and allies. Or else before you know it, there'll be jealousy, suspicions, accusations, daggers in the back. Oh, that unpleasantness.
Whoa. Yeah. I have to say, usually it's very easy for me to choose a romance option in games. Like in Baldur's Gate 3, it was always Gale. Or in Dragon Age games, or in Divinity Original Sin 2, since one doesn't have or feature any romance. I think that's one of the hardest. Yeah, as I said in the beginning of the stream, I have a very slight preference for Ulbrig, so I think I'm going for him. Yeah, Sosiel is also very cute. Woljif is also very charming and lovingly cute and awkward. Yeah, let's go for Ulbrig. And I hope you people viewer are not too disappointed by that. You're right, Ulbrig. I want you with me. You and you alone.
I hope your decision won't break apart our band.
Ulbrig presses his hand to his heart and bows his head.
I accept your choice.
Oh.
May Shaylin bless you.
Sosiel's face seems to turn to marble. I'm sorry.
Well, what can you do? At least you were honest.
Lann grits his teeth.
What can you do? At least you're honest.
Yeah. Lann grits his teeth, but he forces a smile for your benefit. And Woljif doesn't even say anything, I guess. Oh boy. Yeah, I guess we have lots of council meetings. Rachel looks slightly more tense than usual. Logan Aldori, I have fairly important news. I will do my best to be brief. The Hell Knight Order have not reacted well to the developments I mentioned in my last report, specifically regarding the true source of your power. The very notion that we have been cooperating with a weapon forged by Aurilu Vorlish and Nocticula has caused discontent. The orders have not issued any official edicts, but many chapters and high-ranking knights have been recalled from their assignments and barricaded themselves in one of our outposts. The one you know, in fact. I suggest you go there and resolve the issue between the orders and the Crusaders. This is a matter of importance. I like the first question. How could you even think that reporting this to the orders would be a good idea? I mean, it's all about laws and order, so that will be his answer. What kind of reaction should I expect from the Hell Knights? Any, and up to and including a formal declaration of war, which is why you must go to the outpost and resolve the issue before it devolves into open conflict. Very well, I will go there as soon as possible. Excellent. That is all I had to report. So I will return to my duties and you may tend to your other affairs.
Hey, hero.
Logan Aldori. The succubus gazes at you despondently. She always speaks quietly, but now her voice is barely audible whisper. In my dreams, a fire destroyed almost everything. The only thing that was survived was the table. I've returned to my dream world so many times. The nightmare still lurks there, but I want to understand why this table is so important. Why did it survive the fire? I can't figure out what makes it so special. It looks like a simple piece of furniture. It just stands there. What is it supposed to mean? What am I doing wrong? Would you like to enter your dream again? I don't think it will help. We've already been there together and... No, there must be something else. I must look at it from a different side. But how do you find the other side of a dream? The other side of your dream is usually called reality. Perhaps this table represents something that you are supposed to do in real life. You might be right. Rochelet brightens considerably. But what exactly could I do? Find a table? Buy one? Perhaps I should learn the craft of a carpenter and make one myself? So many possibilities, and I don't even know where to begin. Excitement gives way to dismay. Any idea where this table came from? Where did it come from? Rochelet considers your question. She taps her lips thoughtfully. Oh, I remember now. There was a loaf of bread on the table. There was a Nevia's dream, remember? She said she wanted to learn how to bake. The bread went up in flames along with all the other fragments of her dream, but the table remained. If this table came from a Nevia's dream, perhaps you should talk to her. I mean, she's just there. I've been living among mortals for a while now, but there's still so much I don't understand about your kind. How you live, what you dream about. You're right, we should ask Nevia. It is part of her dream, after all. That's a good idea, but... Succubus shifts from foot to foot reluctantly. Could you please talk to her instead? I don't even know how to begin a conversation like this. It is so personal. Please ask her and I will stay nearby. It's so personal, so let me observe it. And I mean, she's not there. Anyway. Yeah, okay. Meeting up at night. Commander. The Inquisitor greets you with a bow. I'm sincerely gladdened by your return, and I was delighted to hear of your recent victories. It is a shame that my duty has kept me away from the front line. I would like to take up a place in the ranks of your Crusaders, and perhaps I will still have a chance to do so, but before that happens, we must address another issue. I suppose you have already guessed what has brought me here. We parted ways after the discovery we made at Count Arendace's estate. You and I both know that the Count became a conduit for an unknown entity, which I call the Other. I retreated to Nerosian and then went beyond Mendes' borders, looking for mentions of such entities and ways to fight them. And now that my search has borne fruit, I'm ready to tell you about it. So, what have you learned about it? I must be honest, I still don't know what it is. However, I managed to find some evidence of similar incidents. Individuals who, in a horrible moment in their life, became a gateway for an unknown entity. The most curious part is that all these cases appear almost sequential. They happened in various corners of Golarion, but no two incidents ever occurred at the same time. This leads me to think that we are dealing with a single entity, one that has been secretly present in our world for a long time, merely changing its gateways on occasion. While I don't know what this entity is, I managed to find something of great value. A Varisian arcanist managed to pick up the trail of the other and invented a ritual to weaken and bind it. She died under very suspicious circumstances. Her decapitated body was found in her laboratory. Her head was never found. It's more like Camilla though. But I know it survived, including the description of the ritual. I've discussed it with several highly esteemed experts in magic, and I'm inclined to consider this a reliable weapon. We can use the ritual to lure the entity out, bind it, and probably exterminate it. But to do that, I'll need your assistance, Commander. If Darien is the gateway, can't we just slam the gateway shut and leave the other on the other side? We can, by killing the Count, the Inquisitor answers simply. But firstly, I'm not sure that the other won't try to protect its gateway, and in that case, we would have to face it unprepared. And secondly, I'm opposed to the idea in principle. I mean, even though Darien is not a nice guy, I wouldn't just outright kill him. Sometimes Inquisitors must make hard decisions. I've made a great many in my lifetime. For instance, I can kill a person possessed by demons if he or she is at the imminent risk of taking many lives, and I have no time to perform an exorcism. But in this instance, the situation is not so critical. We have a way of fighting the other. We'll not agree to commit cold-blooded murder, not even the murder of someone as disgraceful as Count Arundel. Yeah. So, what do we need to do? We must carefully prepare the ritual and then bring Count Arundel to the designated location. The ritual will lure out the other, weaken its connection with the Count, and bind its essence to our world like an anchor. The last part is especially important. All the evidence indicates that while the gateway is active, the other can travel freely between the material plane and some unknown space that lies beyond. If we fail to bind the other with the ritual, it will either escape, or, in the worst case, drag us into his realm. Hence, we must lure it out, and then, I suppose, defeat it. There's more to the issue, aside from the fact that we'll have to fight this incredibly powerful and horrifying creature. The other suspicion must not be aroused until its very last moment, and this means that the Count must know nothing as well. The best course of action would be to take the Count to the designated location without telling him the reason for the journey. Then we must frighten him and make it appear that his life is in danger. The other will believe that its gateway is in peril, and then, I hope, it will show up to protect it. The ritual circle will work as a trap. But it's crucial, and I stress this, that we convince the entity that we know nothing of its existence, that it is Darien who is in danger and not the entity itself. Otherwise, there's no knowing what may happen, and I don't want to give the adversary any chance to outmaneuver us. Why do you think the other will appear to protect Darien? The Count has been in danger many times before, and nothing special has ever happened. You have a special connection with your companions, Commander. You shared part of your mythic powers with them. They journeyed through the abyss with you and survived to tell the tale. I believe the other understands this, and must also understand how dangerous it would be if you were become not a benefactor, but an enemy to its gateway. I'm certain that this will react to a threat coming from you, as opposed to an ordinary encounters with demons and cultists. Ha! We held a bigger threat. Alright, I'll help you. Thank you. Now let's go over the entire operation once more. I'm convinced that we must lure out the other somewhere far from Drezen and other populated places, to avoid civilian casualties. I have chosen a suitable location within the Worldwound. I'll mark it on your map. We must bring the Count there without alerting him to what's about to happen. I assume that another foray into the Worldwound will hardly raise suspicion. I will await you there, with the ritual circle prepared. But before we reach the crucial moment, you must make the Count and the other believe that the Count is in danger. I suppose the easiest way to do that would be to tell him that you made a deal with the Men of Inquisition, and the Count will have to face punishment for his crimes, real or imaginary. I'll find a way to intimidate him, but he must play along. We need to provoke the other to come out to protect his gateway. Then, when we finish it off, once and for all. This case will be my greatest triumph or my greatest failure, but I firmly believe that it must be done. remember my words. The other must be convinced that we are not a threat to the Count, and that we know nothing of its existence. The slightest suspicion could prove fatal for us. Until we meet again, Commander, and may the gods be with us. It sounds like so much could go wrong with that. Who are you? Ah, you're the archaeologist. So many meetings. A pale, ghostly image appears in front of you. You recognize Lathimas, the antiquarian, a scholar you helped some time ago. His translucent form flickers intermittently, and you have difficulty making out his words. Commander, it's Themas. I won't be maintained. Spell for long. Open door. Treasure room. Please hurry. Don't think we will get much more out of him, so I'm on my way. I'll be waiting. Please, hurry. The vision of Lathimas flickers and fades. Who are you? Melissa. Commander. You look up and see Melissa, the green-eyed fisherwoman from the village of Chili Creek. Ah, the sister of the brother, right? Marco. Her hair is a mess, and her face and clothes are covered in soot. It looks as though she has traveled here in a hurry and met with a few dangers along the way. Help! Please help me! He's gone crazy! He will kill him! Swore mythic path? Only death awaits you here. Calm down. What happened? Do you remember Jenna? The cleric who came to our village a year ago? The locals weren't very welcoming to him back then. After all, he was a stranger who was preaching about a strange new god. But little by little, he became one of us. He went fishing alongside us, and he told people stories about the Crusade. He told us about meeting you and seeing the Queen, and the songs you used to sing. They just made you want to stop and listen. Well, eventually, the fisherwoman looks down. We became very close. We started to plan a wedding. My brother didn't seem to mind at first, but after we got married... Oh, well, that's when he lost it. He became violent. He threatened to hurt us. I tried to talk him out of it, but... Melissa shakes her head sadly. We even thought about leaving the village, but when my brother found out, he lost his mind completely. Michael is strong, and no one else in the village dares to challenge him. It was a miracle that I managed to escape, but my husband is still there. He didn't make it out of the village. I don't know what happened to him. Help us, please. What caused this change in Michael's behavior? Melissa looks away and replies softly, Michael, he really honors the village traditions. We've been worshipping the river for many generations. He was not keen on having the cleric of a foreign god in the village, but he was willing to tolerate Jonah's presence for a while. However, my relationship with Jonah really disappointed Michael, especially when he discovered that I had begun worshipping Arestil too. The religion thing. Right, I have you. Thank you, I'll head back to the village. I do my best to keep him from flying into a rage, but please, hurry. I'm afraid he might do something terrible.